The mineral supplements disappeared on schedule, along with everything else Marcus had left out. This time, the note read, "Mama says the purple bottle made her feel stronger. You are a good human, even if you don't know we're stealing. Piper, still secret." Marcus filed it with the others and tried to ignore the warmth spreading through his chest. Good human. Right. Good humans didn't have 73 million in stolen credits. Good humans didn't wake up at 3 a.m. reaching for weapons that weren't there anymore, expecting enemies who'd stopped looking years ago. Good humans probably didn't enable child theft as a hobby. The week crawled forward with its usual tedium. Marcus served meals, cleaned tables, and pretended the cafe's failing equipment was a challenge rather than a symptom of his slow-motion surrender to mediocrity. By Tuesday evening, he'd prepared Wednesday's package with the efficiency of ritual: 2 sandwiches, supplements, juice, chips. He even added a small container of Calithian sweet pods, expensive enough to make him wince, but probably worth it. He was closing up shop at 10 p.m. when the door sensor chimed. "We're closed," Marcus called without turning around. He was elbow-deep in the sanitizer sink, finally tackling the dishes he'd been avoiding all day. The response was a wet, rattling cough that made his survival instincts snap to full alert. Marcus spun around, water dripping from his hands. A Calithian woman leaned heavily against the doorframe, one hand pressed to the wall for support. Her violet skin had faded to an ash-gray color that looked wrong even to Marcus's untrained eye. Silver-streaked hair hung limp around her face, and her breathing came in short, labored gasps. She was also clearly Piper's mother. Same bone structure, same silver pattern in the hair, same eyes that were currently fixed on him with an expression caught between desperation and mortification. "Mr. Webb," she managed between breaths. "I'm Nesrin. I came to—" Another coughing fit doubled her over. Marcus was around the counter before conscious thought caught up with instinct. He caught her elbow as she swayed, shocked by how little she weighed. Through the thin fabric of her work coveralls, he could feel bones that shouldn't be so prominent. "Easy," he said, guiding her to the least wobbly chair in the cafe. "When's the last time you ate something?" I'm not here for—" She stopped, eyes widening as she looked past his shoulder. Marcus turned. Piper stood in the doorway wearing what looked like pajamas 3 sizes too big. Her hair was a chaotic mess of tangles, and her feet were bare despite the station's perpetually cold floors. "Mama, you said you were just getting water," Piper said, her voice small. "Piper, go back to the room," Nesrin whispered. "Please. Hi, Mr. Marcus." Piper waved with sudden enthusiasm, apparently deciding that since she was already caught, she might as well commit. "I'm not stealing right now. This is different. This is visiting." Marcus rubbed his face with both hands, trying to reconcile the surreal domesticity of this moment with the fact that he was having it at 10 p.m. in his failing cafe with 2 people who'd been robbing him for weeks. "Kid," he said carefully, "it's late. Your mom's not feeling well. Maybe we should—" "I know Mama's sick," Piper interrupted, padding over to stand protectively beside Nesrin's chair. "That's why I take the food. The lady at the medical center said Mama needs enzymes." She pronounced the word with careful precision, like she'd been practicing. "The food from your shop has the right kind." Nesrin closed her eyes. "Piper, please don't—" "But it's true. I looked it up on the station net. Human junk food has the proteins Calithians need when we can't go home. And Mr. Marcus makes really good junk food. The best junk food. So I take it and Mama eats it even when she says she's not hungry." Marcus crouched down to Piper's eye level, which put him face to face with the most earnest expression he'd ever seen on another living being. "You've been feeding your mom everything you steal?" Piper nodded vigorously. "Every single bite. Well, except the chips. I eat those because Mama says they're too salty for her, but I think she's lying because she wants me to have treats." "Piper," Nesrin said weakly. "We talked about this. We don't tell people our private business. But Mr. Marcus isn't people. He's Mr. Marcus. He's nice. He leaves food out for me even though he doesn't know I'm stealing it." Piper paused, reconsidering. Or maybe he knows? "Are you magic, Mr. Marcus? Can you see invisible Calithians?" Despite everything, the late hour, the sick woman in his cafe, the bizarre situation unfolding around him, Marcus found himself fighting a smile. "Not magic, kid. Just observant. You're not exactly stealthy. I'm super stealthy. Like a shadow! A purple shadow! Piper demonstrated by crouching behind absolutely nothing, making exaggerated sneaking motions. Piper, enough, Nesrin said, then immediately doubled over coughing again. This time, when she pulled her hand away from her mouth, there were flecks of green blood on her palm. Marcus's amusement evaporated. He'd seen enough sickness in his previous life, enough death, to recognize when someone was running out of time. How long have you been coughing up blood? It's not, Nesrin started. 2 weeks, Piper said quietly. It started 2 weeks ago. Mama says it's fine, but I hear her at night when she thinks I'm sleeping. Nesrin's shoulders sagged in defeat. Mr. Webb, I came to apologize. And to promise we'll pay you back for everything Piper took. I have work, station maintenance, but the medical costs have been... She stopped, swaying slightly in her chair. Marcus made a decision, the kind of snap judgment that his old life had trained him to make without hesitation. Upstairs. Both of you, now. We can't, Nesrin protested. You can barely stand. Your kid has no shoes. It's 10 p.m. and you're clearly not staying anywhere with proper heating. Marcus was already moving toward the back door that led to his apartment stairs. I've got a spare room. You're using it. Non-negotiable. Mr. Marcus, are you kidnapping us? Piper asked with more curiosity than concern. Because Mama says I should scream if anyone tries to kidnap me, but you seem nice, so I'm confused about the protocol. Nobody's kidnapping anyone, Marcus said. I'm offering you a place to sleep that isn't... Where have you been sleeping? The silence that followed was damning. The maintenance tunnels on level 7 have good ventilation, Nesrin finally admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. And it's warm there because of the heat exchangers. Marcus closed his eyes and counted to 10 in 3 different languages, a trick he'd learned to manage anger a long time ago. You've been sleeping in the maintenance tunnels with a 7-year-old while you're sick. I'm almost 8, Piper offered. My birthday is in 43 station days. Jesus Christ. Marcus rarely invoked deities he didn't believe in, but the situation seemed to warrant it. Upstairs now, that's not a request. Nesrin tried to stand and nearly fell. Marcus caught her automatically, one arm around her waist to steady her. She was lighter than she should be, fragile in a way that made something twist uncomfortably in his chest. I don't accept charity, she said, meeting his eyes with dignity that her circumstances couldn't diminish. We'll pay you back. Fine. You can pay me back by not dying in my cafe. Bad for business. Marcus kept his tone light, but his grip was firm as he guided her toward the stairs. Kid, grab your mom's other side. Let's get her somewhere she can actually rest. Piper scrambled to obey, her small hands gripping Nesrin's coveralls with fierce protectiveness. Together, they navigated the narrow staircase to Marcus's apartment, a journey that shouldn't have been difficult, but left Nesrin gasping by the top. The apartment was exactly as Marcus had left it that morning, sparse, clean, and utterly impersonal. A couch that had come with the place, a table he rarely used, a kitchenette that mostly served to reheat cafe leftovers, and the spare room, which he'd been using for storage since moving in 3 years ago. It's not much, Marcus said, already mentally cataloging what needed to be moved. But it's warm, and the bed's decent. Piper was already exploring, her earlier exhaustion forgotten in the excitement of new territory. Mama, look! Real furniture! And the floor doesn't vibrate! She pressed her ear to the ground. Okay, it vibrates a little. But less than the tunnels! Nesrin had gone very still, staring at the apartment with an unreadable expression. Mr. Webb, this is too much. We can't... You need rest. Your kid needs a bed. I need to pretend I'm still a decent person. Marcus headed for the spare room, already pulling boxes aside. Call it even. But we're strangers. You don't know anything about us. Marcus paused, a box of old equipment in his hands. I know your daughter steals food to keep you alive. I know you're sick with something expensive to treat. I know you've got enough pride to sleep in maintenance tunnels rather than beg for help. He set the box down and met Nesrin's eyes. I know enough. Why? The question was soft but insistent. Why would you help us? Because I've got blood money burning holes in secret accounts. Because your kid makes me laugh for the first time in years. Because I'm tired of being alone in this apartment, waiting for nothing. Because maybe, just maybe, I can do one good thing that doesn't involve stealing. Because I can, Marcus said instead. Sometimes that's enough. Piper appeared at his elbow, eyes wide. Mr. Marcus, does this mean we're friends now? Because friends don't let friends sleep in tunnels. Aunt Kessa told me that. Well, she said friends don't let friends drink alone. But I think the principle applies to sleeping arrangements, too. Who's Aunt Kessa? Marcus asked, grateful for the change of subject. She's not my real aunt. She's Mama's friend from work. She has opinions about everything, especially men and why Mama should get one. Piper. Nezrin's face darkened to deep purple. What? It's true! Last week she said Mama needs a man with stable employment and good teeth. Mr. Marcus has a whole cafe and I've seen his teeth. They're very organized. That's husband material, right? Marcus made a choking sound that might have been a laugh. Nezrin looked like she wanted the floor to swallow her whole. On second thought, Marcus managed, maybe the maintenance tunnels weren't so bad, but he was smiling as he cleared out the spare room. And when Nezrin caught his eye, she was almost smiling too. Almost.